Alright guys, so I just got a video project that came in a couple days ago, and I thought instead of editing it right away, I'm gonna make a little YouTube video about it. So basically this client has a bunch of footage shot but needs the footage edited. So the deliverables for the video is a 15-second video, a 30-second video, and a 1-minute video. The footage sent to me has a bunch of B-roll shots as well as an interview that's just a one camera angle interview. So straight up, the budget for this video is $500. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're editing a video in 2 hours, which I'm gonna teach you how to do, that's $250 per hour. I mean, sure, it's not a $5,000 budget video. I'm not gonna say no to $500. So yes, I'm getting paid $500 for this project, and I'm gonna try to bang it out as quick as possible. I think I can do it in 2 hours, and I'm gonna teach you guys how I do this in Final Cut Pro 10. Now, if you don't use Final Cut Pro 10 to edit your videos, you can actually take these tips and tricks and apply them into either DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere. Now, you're probably wondering what's up with this weird camera angle. It's to show the absolute chaos that's going on in the background here. I have not cleaned my office. I've been doing a lot of shooting in here, and it's just easier for me to keep everything set up than tear down and reset up. So it's saving me time. When I'm doing these types of edits where I really just need to focus, like laser focus for 2 hours straight, I need to work in a clean environment. Step number one is just making sure that your workspace is nice and tidy. Once we're done tidying up, we're gonna get into step number two. And now step one is complete. Got a nice tidy space to work in. As you can see, got the RGB lights on just to set the vibe a little bit, and we're ready to take on this edit. So now we're gonna hop into the editing chair, get into Final Cut Pro 10, and I'm gonna start breaking down how I speed edit through projects and maximize my time in the editing suite so I can make the most amount of money possible. All right guys, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is what's inside of my hard drive, right? So here is the client folder, and I'm gonna double click that, and I've already placed all of the clips I need to edit into this folder. And here I have the 3 songs that I can choose from when I'm editing this video. When I'm editing these types of corporate videos that include interviews as well as B-roll shots, I'm basically just gonna comb through all of the interview clips, and I'm gonna trim off all the fat off of the interview. So basically any of the areas where the person interviewed maybe stumbles on their words, I'm gonna just make a fluent interview section. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now, and I haven't even looked at any of this footage yet. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in interview master in capitals. And basically what the interview master is when I go to drag, I'm gonna click on this now, I'm gonna double click on it. What I'm gonna do before is I'm gonna duplicate this just a few times here. So as I mentioned, there's gonna be a 15-second, 30-second, and 1-minute video. The 15-second video is gonna be strictly B-roll. The 30-second and 1-minute videos are gonna be the interviews mixed in with B-roll. So I need to snip the best parts of the interviews to make a 30-second video as well as a 1-minute video. So we have these 4 little events here, or projects, I guess you can call them. So we have an interview master, and then we're gonna go 15-second video, 30-second video, 1-minute video. Super simple. Now I'm gonna duplicate this interview master, and I'm gonna make this a B-roll master. So this is gonna have the best of the best B-roll clips, and this is gonna have all of the interview clips with all the fat trimmed off of them. So let's start with the interview. That's where I like to kind of start with. And what I do is now I'm in the interview section here, and I'm gonna drag every single interview clip in here, okay? All back to back. Okay, so the most boring part of editing interviews is sometimes listening to the interviews, and it's really hard to not be lazy sometimes, but make sure that you're actually listening to the interview from very beginning to very end, because you never know if the person being interviewed stumbles upon words, and you want to be able to catch that and either mask it with B-roll or make some cuts to eliminate those uhs and ums and any type of rough patches from the interview. So I'm gonna go back here really quick, and I'm gonna comb through this from beginning to end, and I'm just gonna start trimming fat. Now, another thing too is when I make this cut here, so this is the second tape. This is clip 27. We just watched clip 26. So if I do this, sometimes when you do this, it's hard to distinguish unless you look at the clip name, which is which interview, right? So what I do is I go into my text tab here, go all the way down to generators, and I actually pull in just a custom blank tab, and this just totally separates, like it's a big separation between these 2 clips, so I know that this is a separate interview from this one. All right guys, so I went through all the interviews and it looks like the fourth take was the best one. So this interview is coming up to 50 seconds in length, which is perfect because they want a 1 minute cut. What I'm actually gonna do is start with the 30-second interview video because I'm gonna wanna trim this interview down to 30 seconds and make it all sound fluent. So this is where your best judgment comes into play, and you have to be a little smart with this. You want the delivery of what this guy is talking about in the video or whatever interview you're talking about. If you have to condense a 1 minute video into a 30-second video, you have to pick the most important parts to get the point across of what this video is about. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna comb through this and I'm basically gonna cut out anything that I feel isn't totally necessary to get what he's saying or his point across to the audience that's gonna be viewing this video. All right, so we're gonna leave this 30-second video, and this is prep for B-roll. The 1 minute video, I might actually just go through really quick, skim through it, make a few small minor adjustments just to trim the fat a little bit because there's a lot of empty space I see on this timeline in between his talking. So I just want it to sound nice and fluent. So I'm gonna go through right now, comb through it. It's gonna take me about 1 minute to do that. And then that's gonna be prep for B-roll, music, and then color grading to end. Now, one thing when you are editing interview videos, I see a lot of amateurs make this mistake. They almost edit it like a YouTube vlog where it's just back to back to back to back talking, and you don't want that. Sometimes you want a little bit of pauses in between the speaking, especially if there's B-roll laid over top, because when you have the B-roll laid over top, you don't see the pausing expression in the person who's being interviewed face. It's nice to keep the pauses in there as long as they're not like a super long, awkward, silent pause. Even if it's by like half a second or a second, I will actually make those minor adjustments and tweaks sometimes to interviews. So just something to keep in mind. The 1 minute video is now cut. Next, what I'm gonna do is play around with this B-roll, okay? So I'm gonna go into the B-roll master, all right? So B-roll master is literally just me skimming through all of the B-roll clips. So let's say there's this clip right here, okay, where he kind of pushes in with the gimbal. So I'm gonna just snip that and drop it in the timeline. And I'm literally just gonna keep doing that for all of the best B-roll clips that I find. And this gives me easy chronological access to how it was shot to all of the clips. So I'm gonna start with the first clip. I'm gonna go through this, speed ramp everything up, toss some music over top, and show you guys me organizing all the B-roll shots. Finished grabbing the best of the best B-roll shots. Now, another thing too is that with the B-roll shots, we obviously don't want any of the audio coming from the B-roll cam. So what I'm gonna do is actually mute the audio here. And what I did was just drag this down, and I'm gonna Control-C to copy, Control-Shift-V to paste all the volume attributes. I actually have a free PDF that you guys can download on my online shop, which I'm gonna leave a link in the description for. I give away every single one of my shortcut hacks when I am editing Final Cut Pro 10, and these are shortcuts that I personally come up with literally over the past like 7 years. So if you want to download that for free, click the link that you see in the description. All right guys, so I'm gonna get back into the 1 minute video here. So basically the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my effects tab here. I'm gonna go, or transitions, I'm gonna go to dissolve, fade to color, pull it to the very beginning, trim that up, click on it, and I'm gonna pull the midpoint all the way to the left, hold all the way to the left. And what that does is make a very, a slower transition from black to picture.
My name is Graham Snell, and I work for the chicken farm of the Saskatchewan.
And see how there's a hard cut from the first intro clip to the next clip. So we want to add in a B-roll shot here. And when you are tossing in B-roll shots, especially for a more corporate-y vibe like this, you really want to try to correlate the B-roll to what the person being interviewed is actually talking about, or maybe it could be a whole voiceover video and you're just placing B-roll over top of the voiceover. You want the B-roll to further help tell the story. So right now I'm gonna start picking apart all the best of the best B-roll shots, and I'm gonna be tossing them over top of this guy being interviewed. All right, so one last little hack here actually for productivity when you are bouncing back and forth from, call it the B-roll master to the 1 minute video. So right now I'm in the 1 minute video, right? And let's say I click on the B-roll master, okay? So instead of copying and pasting videos back and forth like this and always having to click on these projects, what you can actually do is you can click this little arrow right here, and that's gonna take me to the 1 minute video. I click the arrow to the right and it takes me back to the B-roll master. So let's say I wanna take this clip right here and put it into the 1 minute video. All I do is Control-C, click this arrow, Command-V, and boom, it's right here, pull it over top, and now I just added in a B-roll shot. From there, I can just trim it to size and carry on with adding B-roll. Alright guys, so I've added the B-roll clips in. I might add one or two in extra at the end here, but basically once I get to the end of the video, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fade to color again. I'm going to pull the midpoint all the way to the right, hold to the left. So what that does is create a slow fade out.
For gold.
And then what I'm going to do next is go to my text, go to my generators, custom, pull the custom into here. Now I need to grab the logo file. So because the logo file is white on the background and we don't have a PNG file, I'm going to change the color of the generator to, or the custom to white, and that's going to change the background. And then I'm going to shrink this to about here. Looks good. So what we're going to do is fade to white, and all you do is just click on the fade to color and change it from black to white. And now it's going to fade to white. And next we want to have this be a smooth fade in. So we're going to go back into our transitions, pull cross dissolve over top, and we're going to pull this out, and we're going to hit that 1 minute mark right on the dot. We're going to copy this title or this fade to color, drop it into here. Now we're going to change it to black because we want to fade out to black. So as you can see here, we're going to go from talking, fade to white, dissolve, cross dissolve into the logo, cross dissolve out, fade to black. Very, very simple transition to do for outro logo designs. All right guys, so I really like this B-roll that we have here. So what I'm going to do is actually copy all the B-roll. We're going to go back into our project here. We're going to go into the 30-second project, and I'm going to drop all the B-roll in on top of here. By the way guys, while I'm adding this music into the timeline, I actually got this corporate sounding music from Epidemic Sounds. If you guys want a free 30-day trial, be sure to click the link that you see in the description. You get free 30 days. You can try it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to purchase it. I personally have been using Epidemic Sounds for about 4 or 5 years now. I have yet to switch to the other royalty-free platforms. I personally have always just found Epidemic Sounds to have every single royalty-free song that I ever needed, and it's been great for corporate videos, for my YouTube videos, creative videos, etc. So again, if you want a 30-day free trial to Epidemic Sounds, click the first link that you see in the description of this video. Alright guys, so I'm done chopping all 3 videos. Now I'm going to start color grading. So I'm going to start with the interview video. Basically, this looks like it was all shot in like a natural color profile. So what I'm going to do is just touch it up a little bit, just do some color correction if anything. So what I'm going to do is click Command 7. So this is going to pop open my waveform. So basically what I'm going to do is go into the color tab here. I'm going to click on this clip, and I'm going to click on color wheels, and I'm going to boost those highlights a little bit. Shadows we can probably bring down just a little bit. It's kind of noisy in the background. Midtones, we're going to bring this down just a touch. White balance is fine. Let's go into the hue versus set. Click on this. Bring that redness down on his face. Cool. I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to paste this onto every single interview clip. Boom. That's good. Just brightened up his skin tone a little bit. Just because this is obviously shot off probably like a Sony or something, I'm not going to be tossing LUTs and stuff on it because it was shot at a natural color profile. So I'm literally just color correcting. So if the highlights were peaking, I'm going to bring the highlights down. Like if the highlights were past this 100 point, I'm going to bring them down. If the lines here are underneath the 0 point, that means that we're losing information in the shadows. So I'm going to boost the shadows and then bring the midtones down. If the shadows are way up at like 25 for whatever reason, then I'm going to crush the shadows. So I'm literally just going through and just color correcting each clip, and then I'm going to copy and paste the attributes on all these clips to each other and just make sure everything is color corrected. All right, so these clips that were shot in here, like these ones especially, are a little noisy. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna add noise reduction. Noise reduction I'm gonna do at the absolute like very last stage because it does crush the rendering times in Final Cut Pro 10. So once I'm done color correcting everything, then I'm gonna add the noise reduction. Once that all renders out, then I'm going to export everything. All right, last but not least, I'm gonna add noise reduction to the clips that I feel need noise reduction. There's only a few of them. And once I'm done with all the noise reduction, at that point in time, I'm going to export the videos, let them render out. So the videos are now uploading. I'm gonna send them off to the client tonight. I timed myself and this took me an hour and a half to edit, and it probably would have been more like an hour if I wasn't shooting a YouTube video. And I got paid $500 for this video. In 1 hour, I got paid $500. You hear a lot about people, sticking to their budget and, only doing the work that's worth it. For me personally, like, I just sat here in an hour and made $500. Minimum wage where we live is about $15 Canadian. For somebody making minimum wage $15 an hour, they would have to work 33 hours to get paid $500. And I just did it in 1 hour. So for me personally, as a freelancer, my budgets do fluctuate a little bit, and I'm totally okay. Even though I'm so busy right now, I'm totally okay with saying yes to a project that's just editing, is super corporate-y, it's not even my footage, not portfolio piece worthy. But if I'm gonna get paid out $500 for an hour of my time, hell, sign me up. For example, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I took a corporate project for $3,000. I have somebody in the food industry that's under a content retainer with me for $1,700 a month. Filmmaking is a very good skill set to have in 2022, and you can make a lot of money doing it, even if you're not a professional and somebody that's been doing it all their lives like myself. However, I'm just an average person that learned how to do it all through YouTube, through videos like this. I never went to school. Hell, I dropped out of university. So I am no better than you. I am no more capable than you are. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. Did this video help you? Did it shed some light or open your eyes as to how much money you could be making shooting videos, or productivity hacks that you picked up in this video that you might use in your next corporate video edit? Now, if you want me to go in depth in anything that you saw in this video, leave that video request in the comments down below, and I promise I will get to it. With all that being said, guys, catch you in the next one. Peace.